All right, folks, welcome back once more. We've got 10 out of 10 in the lobby. Both teams are ready. And this best of three is just about to get started. We'll hop into the draft ASAP. Any additional thoughts before we get into the draft?
The Alliance will lose game 2. As we have established.
He said additional thought. That's an already established thought.
All right, in addition to to saying it will be 3 out of 4 potential outcomes, I can say Alliance will not win 2-0. That was the only one I...
Okay. Well, here we can look at some...
It was a terrible prediction, actually.
Some
all right, IG
stats.
2-0. I'm going to be confident then. Then we're going to say it that way. I think IG will 2-0.
Okay. IG, they look pretty good. They don't look too tired for just getting off an airplane and being presumably jet-lagged.
I mean, the jet lag kicks in later.
That's true.
Possibly. Maybe this is them just like their morning time. Like they just ate their breakfast, they're ready to go, had their caffeine, and...
Burning's in the zone. Schwann's pounding a monster.
Speaking of caffeine, get ready.
That's the way to do it.
He seems focused.
He is.
Lan Chuan is serious, you know?
Very stalwart.
He's taking these games very seriously.
Are you implying that he doesn't take games seriously at times?
I don't know. When they lost to Tong Fu, perhaps. I'm like, that's all I can come up with for that one.
That's fair enough. And here we've got Alliance. There's good old Loader. Ake, as we saw in our pre-game interview. The infamous jungler, the micro master, if you will.
One of the best.
One of the more handsome Dota 2 players in the scene.
Absolutely.
There's the mad chemist himself.
He's got some new glasses.
He does.
It's a very different look.
I like that.
He's got the gold.
He looks very different, actually. I almost didn't recognize him at first.
And this is the first appearance of Nikwa on camera.
There we go.
Yeah.
Looks very
I've never
Swedish.
seen him before.
He fits right in.
Very Swedish.
And that's a guy who looks extremely Swedish. Ooh. He is the Swede.
The most Swedish one.
Absolutely.
Every time I see Pycat at a LAN event, he looks younger.
How is that possible?
Wait, which actor is it that is like that?
Benjamin Button?
That was that was a fictional movie, not an actor, but good try.
Is it Keanu Reeves? I don't know.
He does look
some
like
actor.
Madonna. All right, so we were almost ready. I think the teams are saying go. We're ready to rock, baby.
Just need the admin to say go, or to click go.
All right, waiting on the admins now.
We've got more casters than players in the lobby, so hopefully everything goes.
I saw Zyclops in the lobby earlier. He was just cheering everybody on. Good luck, have fun.
He's casting in Thai.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, in that game, he was just hanging out.
I mean, maybe it was both.
I wonder how he casts in Thai.
Is it as crazy?
The same way.
That is a good question, actually.
Like
or is it more serious?
Watch him be like the most serious professional style, like Thai casting you've ever seen. And he's just complete polar opposite of what you'd normally get from him.
With all the word plays he makes in English, imagine how many he can make in his native language.
That's the crazy thing. It's not even his primary language, and he's quite the linguist. It's impressive.
He might actually just be rapping all cast in Thai.
Good old Cyclops.
All right, well, everyone is ready, but the game isn't starting, so...
We tried.
Our admin fell asleep, so...
We had a load which didn't
But we've got these great camera shots of the... Oh, there we go. Loading in
we
finally. So we'll have this draft coming up momentarily. We'll get these great camera shots of the team. It's a really nice venue here. And oh, there it is.
Yep.
The grand prize. The trophy. You think it's made out of gold? Platinum, perhaps?
Plastic.
Or plastic, maybe?
No. I may have just lost my job here.
Invictus
Oh, boy.
Now,
all right.
You mentioned mid lane may be very important, and it's one of those funny things, because I feel like mid 1v1s haven't been that decisive in outcomes of games for some time, but that Malaysia versus Secret game, in some ways I feel like Ketchik Imba solo killed S4 in 2 of those 3 games.
Yeah.
They won those 2 games. Maybe mid matchups are becoming important again.
Great sample size.
Yes. Well, it's 50% of our games here, you know?
It is very important, because the thing is, the mid matchup, we generally consider, like, when players practice one-on-one mid, or if there's an actual one-on-one tournament, a lot of the time the rule is you play until first tower or first blood, because it's generally considered a one matchup when you first blood the opponent. You get so far ahead that you need to really screw up to throw it. And if you look at that in a competitive... in the competitive aspect, it means if you get a solo kill in the lane, you more or less force a rotation, or you keep beating your opponent. And forcing that rotation opens up another lane. So if your mid laner wins the lane, maybe your off laner is the ultimate beneficent from it. So it's pretty interesting when that does happen. In my opinion, this mid matchup, Ferrari is just one of the best mechanical players in the world for that mid lane.
No
He
doubt.
is-
I think he might be. Like, some of the stuff I've seen him do since coming back with this IG team, where if he wins the block, he'll just go up on the other ramp and completely zone out the opposing mid player from XP if he has a hero that can win the right-click battle, like a Storm,
Oh, yeah.
who's got your 5 base armor.
And look who's in. Queen of Pain.
She made it.
And Chen.
I think
The two big ones. So
I think IG prefer the Queen of Pain, but
I
we'll
think
see.
so, too.
It may be if they go Chen, I feel like it's more a deny pick. Or they go
Yep.
Storm.
okay.
As we said, Storm Spirit.
Well, a hero that they're very comfortable on. One of Ferrari's go-tos. I am surprised they passed up the Quap. I mean, Alliance could just take the Quap Chen opener here. Is there something more tempting?
It's a pretty good opener.
I mean, Jug is in the pool, but
Quap doesn't beat Storm as hard on Dire as vice versa. Or as Quap beats Storm on Radiant. The Radiant uphill is just a bit better there in the mid lane for the Quap. So I would not expect that whoever will be playing the Quap, which will most likely be Pycat,
look at those
to be able
stats.
to dominate the lane as well.
And all the 10 games in the season of Starladder, Ferrari averages like 9-2 and 11 KDA. That is gross. Small
actually-
sample, but still, that's
Insanely good. Maybe we see so either a Chen or a Lion here, I think. Might take a page out of Team Malaysia's book. Nope. Well, kind of.
Well, boys, we were about as wrong as could be here with these predictions of picks.
Yeah.
Axe Lena, the opener for Alliance.
Now, IG have been first to picking Lena as well, so this is partially a hero Alliance want, but also denying it from IG. This really seems to be the kind of one of the top tier supports at the moment.
So I feel like Earthshaker or Chen, probably the top two
Yes.
choices here. Some sort of a support pick,
So they're going to pick something else.
possibly a Lion. Xuan's Lion, they also first pick on occasion, depending if they feel Chen or Lion is more
They
valuable.
sometimes
here.
early pick Rubik even, but
I feel like Lion is a really good counter pick to Axe in general, because the way Axe initiates fights is that he blinks and he calls X heroes, and then he wants to finish off the fight with a dunk. But the Hex into Impale or Spikes just takes him out for so long, and even though Axe is incredibly tanky with Berserker's Call, you've got a thing called Finger of Death that doesn't really give a damn about it. So that's why they're going to pick AA.
There you go. So we talked about this a lot in the
Well, that
preview.
was actually predicted by you. So
Yeah.
it's red versus blue. They're following the theme.
Yeah.
AA
Wow.
is also a nice hero against Axe, even though he's in Berserker's Call. Chilling Touch, even though it's the physical attacks do proc it, the damage type is of course magical and can really destroy Axe in lane. You would be
Yeah.
surprised how quickly he can.
Yeah, definitely. And the Ice Blast is a good way to deal with those tanky heroes in general. Can make Axe think twice before hopping in.
a lot of the time from watching IG's games, what ends up happening in the mid to late game is Burning and Ferrari are the only ones who can farm on the map, while the other three are just kind of huddled up together. And that's where having an AA can be kind of nice, because you can scout out with the Ice Blast, offer assistance to players like Ferrari, who's just often his Storm Spirit, split pushing the map in the middle of nowhere. So
And they banned PL.
Okay.
Wonder if they're setting up for something here, or like Alliance to me, yes, they have a PL player, but I don't feel like they've played it that much, have they?
No.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think if there's something that PL kind of counters that IG may want to
that's
go
what
for.
I was thinking too.
But I don't really know what that is.
5 seconds
He
remaining.
is, I think he is really good against Morphling.
yes, and
Actually-
the fact they picked the AA. Well, I mean, it's not like Alliance were going to pick the AA, but
It's the
Yeah.
hero that comes
I
to
don't
mind
know
that
that-
IG like that PL is good against.
The AA is not
Yep.
necessarily telling of the morph, but certainly a possibility. There's your Rubik third ban here from Alliance.
yeah. So the Rubik AA support duo just
10
gives you
seconds
so many
remaining.
possibilities as far as your lanes go. You can aggro trialing if you really want, but
5
IG will be
seconds
happy to
remaining.
take Lion, though, if he gets left in the pool here. I'm not so sure Alliance will let that happen. Alliance will have the first third pick, so they could scoop him up if they're so
Alliance's
inclined. And there's
turn
your
to ban.
fourth ban on the Earthshaker from IG.
do you feel like this is more likely a Pycat mid laner, support laner, or it's just open-ended for now?
It's open-ended. It's a very good matchup for Lina, though. The Storm Spirit can't really... Lina is a great aggressive mid laner, and Storm Spirit is a very defensive one until level 6. So it definitely favors the Lina, that
5
matchup.
seconds
And
remaining.
like we talked about, the mid lane is going to be important in this series, so getting a head start against Ferrari would be great.
Reserve time.
But I think it's open-ended. There is going to be the Morphling ban mode from Alliance.
Alliance's
Also,
turn
would have fit
to
the,
pick.
the blue theme very well, so let's get rid of that.
Yeah. So what does Alliance look
open-ended
towards
for now.
here? A lot of support options still in the pool if they want it to be a core Lina. Vengeful Spirit, one that has fallen off a little bit in popularity, but on the Dire side, that minus armor may be a little more tempting. Pairs pretty nicely with the Axe.
I still think Line is really good.
Yeah.
I feel like that hero is good in almost every game. maybe I'm just very biased for it, but I feel like every time I see a Lion...
You sound like a Lion fanboy to me, so.
Yeah. Well, you saw the Team Malaysia series. I feel like Lion was a huge part of both of their victories. Was he picked? He was picked in Game 1 of Tinker versus Cloud9, and he actually, with very minimal items, actually had a very big impact in the game. But they're going to go for Skywrath as their solution mainly to Storm. Of course, a nice setup for ganking for Lina.
Great zoning support.
The Ancient Seal with Lina is exceptional for ganking mid lane.
Yeah. And there's Clockwork for IG. Yeah. There's your Luo in the off lane.
This will be a game truly like what you talked about, where it'll be a 2-core lineup. Luo's not going to get a whole lot of farm this game, I imagine, and it's going to be all about creating space for Ferrari as well as whatever hero Burning's playing. This is what happens especially with the Storm script, because Storm needs a lot more farm than some of Ferrari's other mid-heroes. And I guess for now, Burning's here is pretty open-ended. The Jug's still available, whereas some less 6.83 type carries as well that he still plays.
Yeah, but plays Medusa on occasion. The anti-mage is always one that can come out if it feels right. I think Sin mentioned Spectre as a possibility earlier. Medusa as well.
Alliance are considering Void. He's very good with Sky Lina. He's pretty good against Storm given the right initiation, but not so good with Axe.
How do Alliance normally run their Axe? Safe lane, off lane?
Off lane most of the time, I think. But they...
Ooh.
Okay.
Chaos Knight. Now, Wisp, of course, is banned out, so that makes this a little more interesting.
He is...
Are you the Chaos Knight fan? Were you the one that was trying to sell me on Chaos Knight? Like, every time I saw you last year, just, this hero is actually good. I know nobody believes me.
I've said this hero is very underrated, but the reason it doesn't get picked is that most teams don't even consider it. Like, they don't think about it, so they don't realize when it's a good Chaos Knight game.
Most teams don't run red drafts as well.
Yeah. So. Alliance is one of the teams that actually has picked Chaos Knight multiple times, and I think what triggers the pick for them is that they see the enemy team has already shown their hand with one support that's not good against illusions. One of the cores is not good against illusions. Like, who's going to kill the CK illusions for now? No one, right?
Well, so if they take Lion here, that's a good tool.
Lion would be great. He can remove 2 of the illusions, one with monitoring, one with Hex, or they get something like a Sand King as the secondary support, which I think actually suits very well what IG needs. They have a Clockwork to open the fight, or a Storm. They have 2 ways of initiating. Sand King will easily be able to set up an Epicenter and get the blink into a burst, right? I think it's a very solid pick.
I can agree with that.
And when you've got an offlane Clockwork, you want maybe a support taking more
time. We are just not on the same page today. Witch Doctor.
I'm very surprised this is the pick they went for. I feel like Chaos Knight is one of those heroes that trigger a response. Like, when a team picks Chaos Knight, you generally, if you don't already feel like you have the counters to it, you pick something that really counters it. So maybe their carry will do it, but I just feel like there's very few carries that really deal that well with Chaos Knight's illusions.
So Gyrocopter maybe when
Gyro could work. I think that would be a nice choice, but it kind of goes both ways. He can also just get blown up instantly when he gets caught by Chaos Knight. So,
what about Medusa?
Medusa's pretty nice, but once again, that also goes both ways. Chaos Knight has so much single target damage that if she does not get her ult off, she can actually die in a Chaos Bolt to Chaos Knight almost.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I was thinking something along the lines of maybe a Sven could be nice. The cleave, the AoE stun against Chaos Knight, who always poses illusions together when he uses Reality Rift, that could work. Although Sven doesn't do that well against Axe, so tough call.
Does Burning play Sven?
I wonder if IG are just underestimating the Chaos Knight, or flat out don't care. But I feel like this is a little bit of a cocky Witch Doctor pick, who also doesn't do that well against the rest of the heroes of Alliance.
Yeah, the Witch Doctor feels out of left field. It will be a Juggernaut final ban from Alliance, one of Burning's go-tos on this patch.
10 seconds remaining.
And IG, this is a tough last ban. Still not really sure if that Lina is going to be the core of the support. What do you think's more likely here? I'm leaning towards core.
Yeah, me too.
Pykep's played it a lot. They showed some stats early. He's got a 7-win, 9-loss record on it. I guess I don't know if that's just Starladder or across all tournaments, but
it is good as a support together with CK though. It's one of the lane carries that actually sets Lina up very nicely.
Yeah.
So it's okay that Skywrath can't do it if Chaos Knight does it for them, but
that's a pretty scary tri-lane actually. Lina, Skywrath, CK. I mean, it's just great team play. It could have been a missing piece of their puzzle if they wanted to take a really scary mid-game approach. Perhaps that's what IG's afraid of.
You know, it's good for Alliance. Omni.
Yeah.
Considering how, in some ways, it's a fairly similar lineup to what Team Malaysia just ran, and I feel like Omni Knight is actually completely uncountered by IG's lineup. Sure, okay, AX Ice Blast can be annoying for the heal, but that's pretty much it, right? Apart from that, Guardian Angel completely hard counter switch blockers ultimate, it's also very nice against Storm Spirit Spirits to have Repel on your main carry that Storm Spirit would like to jump, or any support that he initiates on. The only thing Omni needs to be careful with is not getting caught by the Storm himself. Positioning that could definitely work. I would like to see it in Alliance's played it in the past on Nav. I think the trend is going. Yeah, it's just also very good.
You think jungling like Chen? But time here is it good here, or
probably get away with Chen. He's I feel like counters Chen way more than he counters Omni. So
I think the one other slight where with this switch up to AA is IG could then just go trialing against your CK Skyrim lane. Yeah, if you have a jungling hero.
yeah, that is true.
Feels risky.
10 seconds remaining.
The witch up to AA should have grown very well. That's the other kind of weakness thing with IG's draft.
Okay,
So they finally pick the Phoenix.
Turn to pick.
this actually still doesn't show exactly what Alliance plans. This could be an offlane Phoenix with an Axe General. It could be so many different ways. It could be a support Phoenix and support Skywrath with Axe offlane leading a mid-cast and safely. Or it could be 2-on-2. Yeah, actually. So, I actually don't know exactly.
They play the Phoenix, put Axe mid, and then do an aggro try. I mean, there's like countless ways that you try and match this up.
Aggro try leading into Witch Doctor A is super yeah. You really need to put Axe against the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way you want to set it up.
I
I think a lot of this you want to do like the Phoenix Axe off lane, and then Axe can then rotate in the jungle once the lane becomes unmanageable maybe, but
I think IG might be considering Drow. They have 4 range. Gust is actually fairly good against Chaos Knight. Creating some space when he jumps in and getting some distance is great in lane against Phoenix.
I think it's likely to be something that was super hard carries. Like, well, like the Medusa is really
Medusa's good too.
you could look at the fact that dealing with the CK illusions, having if they go for a ground and go
I think no last two counters it anyway. Not enough. The Medusa is like you talked about.
Medusa or Gyro.
It's an OP solution. Gyro is probably the absolute best if you just want one hero that counters the illusions. Then it's Gyro or Sven, but I feel like both of them are really underwhelming in this game.
Yeah.
So they might just try to play around the Chaos Knight and
5
maybe
seconds.
try to annoy you with
They take it out more.
they just split push.
Yeah.
And avoid the Chaos Knight's threats. And whenever he uses the Phantasm, they do last very long, but Song of the Siren actually causes a quarter of the duration. It's like, what is it, 7 or 8 seconds on the song? 8.
It's in that neighborhood.
The Phantasm is like 32, right? So it's about a fourth.
It's 42.
Is it 40? Oh god, yeah.
I feel like I think it's buffed from 24 seconds to 32 second duration.
And then it got buffed again, didn't it?
I like that one.
Yeah, it's too. I thought it was a
Nice. 42 sounds way too long.
I think 30. Well, I don't know, actually. I really don't know.
Either way, point still stands. Naga starting on a split push, avoid fights. I mean, this is going to be a pretty potent draft from the Lions as far as what they can do.
Just don't play Chaos Knights.
I can't look at the action, by the way.
5 seconds.
Oh, so unless they do some swaps after they load in, this is looking like maybe a support lane and an offlane Phoenix.
So very quickly before we toss to our casters, looking at the draft, what do you guys think? Who has an edge in game one?
I think IG look a little bit stronger. Because for Alliance to be able to play their game, they have to get ahead early. I think else the Naga will play the Naga game instead of being forced into playing the CK game. Alliance have really good lanes, but at the same time, I feel like the counterplay potential from IG is really good. So I also said I think IG is a stronger team going in. So if the drafts are fairly even, I will favor IG every time. So I think IG is going to take
I think drafts are even. They're just very different style drafts, which you're going to peak at very different times and look to. I mean, they're complete polar opposites as far as what the two drafts are meant to accomplish.
All right, and for the conclusion about Phantasm, it is 42 seconds.
Dang. We should have trusted you. That's why you're on this analyst panel.
Sometimes I get them right. You throw enough darts, you eventually hit a bullseye.
It's a lot of time.
It is. It lasts for a really long time. That's part of the buff that he got that makes CK actually viable now.
Well, okay, actually, IG, if they get an Aghanim Scepter on Witch Doctor, they have counters to the illusions. Somewhat.
Yeah.
But that's pretty far down the line. It is Juan on the Witch Doctor, that's okay.
All right. So pause to get things started, but with that, we'll hand it over to LD and Purge. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. This is LD and Purge. Pretty new game on Alliance versus IG. How you doing? Yeah. Pretty good. That's the first time I heard that joke, actually. Yeah, that's an LD special, man. I've been saving it just for you. I've heard it a few times. I'm pretty excited for the game. I really like the Alliance draft. The CK, obviously, a very different carry than we normally see, but like I said, the ultimate from Phantasm does last a long duration, and the AoE of IG is pretty weak, so I things are going to be a little tough for IG to deal with, I think.
Yeah, who do you favor overall here? Are you also leaning towards IG's draft, or?
I think as a team, I favor IG more than Alliance here, but I think in terms of draft, I think I like the Alliance one a little better. They have a little bit stronger team fight with the Phoenix Egg. I think the main thing that IG does have going for them, though, is the Naga sleep. If Axik gets a good initiation and it's not a Naga, she can just sleep everybody, reset the team fight, maybe kill Egg. I don't know if you can kill Egg during the Naga sleep or not. Do you know?
That's actually a good question.
That might be a big
I'm not
thing.
sure.
I don't know if it gets invulnerable or not. Maybe it'll make the interaction weird or something like that. Yes.
Yeah, if you can kill it, that would be an excellent way to deal with the Phoenix. And even if you can't, it's still really good against this overall Alliance draft. Like, if you just get off the song, you can completely just shut down the Phantasm. Once you get the level 3 ultimate, it's got such a low cooldown compared to that Phantasm.
One thing that may also happen if the egg continues, which I assume is more likely, you can just let the egg stun everybody and leave the stun on for full duration. It lasts for 7 seconds. If you stun right before it stuns you, then it kind of counteracts the stun duration in a lot of ways, and it would give you a reset there. So there's a couple ways that they can use the song to play around the game.
It's definitely this Alliance draft just feels like the kind of lineup that really needs to snowball. I mean, all of these heroes, the Axe, the Lina, to some extent Chaos Knight as well. Last time I saw Lotus CK, he did go for a Midas, and he tried to play just more of a hard carry, and it worked, but it's still not something you really want to get into, ideally. You like to avoid the farm game versus a Naga.
Especially in Midas, because it doesn't enhance your illusions in any ways other than giving you extra items to make your Phantasm illusion.
The other thing it is good for is the levels for CK.
Yeah.
It's one of the more level-dependent carries, but yeah, it doesn't really buff up your illusions.
More stats is great on the hero, and obviously your third skill, Chaos Strike, gives you huge crits. It's one of the better crits in this game. It's a little bit lower chance. Might actually have an engagement, but one Newcomb burn, you probably running away.
Alright, let's quickly introduce the teams here. Game 1 officially underway. Burning will be playing the Naka Siren. No surprises there. Faith handling your Ancient Apparition. Chuan will complete this tri-lane. Heading towards top is the Witch Doctor. It's Luo going in on the Clockwork. Don't see him mid very often. Normally off lane. Occasionally we'll get the side lane solo, but it's actually going to be the Storm heading towards bottom. Over on the side of the Alliance, we've got Nikwa playing the off-lane Phoenix. In the mid lane, Loda on the CK with Skywrath at his side, being handled by Ake, who else? And at least Matchka on the Lina, and Pycat on the Axe. So the mid Clockwork, not something we see particularly often, but he is a difficult hero to kill.
I think it's a lane prediction from IG here. They knew that Alliance was likely to put a dual lane mid since Pycat was playing Axe here. They're not going to put an Axe versus Storm mid, so it's more likely to be a Chaos Knight plus support. They can get bottle, rune control, get levels, stack, all that good stuff. So they put their survivable hero in the going to die because they got 3 nukes.
Yeah, IG do have a decent defensive capability here thanks to the cask. It's a bit difficult to dive them away from the creep wave, but at the same time have very high burst. Definitely a lane where we could see some early action. So far, looking at the farm distribution, appears to be a little bit favored towards Team Alliance here. Loda getting a lot of CS in the tri-lane, and Burning's Naga not off to the best start. Only 5 CS to Loda's 15.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand right now. Oh, they're going to pull
They're
Burning
gonna
forward.
jump him in.
2
Burning
seconds
could be in
stun.
trouble. Cass coming out will bounce nicely, but they need a little more follow-up. Another stun coming in from Matchgun. It will be first blood. Spilled by Alliance. They chase out Chuan a bit further. That looks like that's where it'll end, and right at that moment, we got to pause. It looks like Nikwa might even be looking for a dive here on 430.
And that was like perfect value out of Reality Rift. Not only did they have all their disables, but he also pulled him 550 range, or half of that range, back towards their allies. So he was just completely out of position when they actually did finally go on him.
It's
If he was
really, it
closer,
sets up
it
the
would've
Lina
fine.
really nicely. Like,
Yeah.
Lina normally needs a setup, and often we see it from a support when it's a core Lina, but in this case, your carry can set it up.
And then you're always a bit closer because you're at the creep wave. They might not expect it. The last creep dies, you pull him back, and then you've got nukes and creep waves hitting him.
Well, it was
Pretty easy kill.
something the panel was discussing was, do you really want to try to contest IG's tri-lane? Witch Doctor, AA, normally a very strong support duo, but with the Naga, they just don't. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily Alliance favored, but it's actually pretty even at best. And well, in that case, just able to catch IG out of position.
I'm a little curious about this ward. Do you feel like they misplaced this observer ward here? It's right on the edge, I believe. If they put a little bit more north, the large camp can be pulled. And that's usually the advantage that you get from going to the Radiant offlane here. I feel like they maybe misblocked, especially because of the place of the sentry here. The sentry definitely doesn't block. So I feel like if they really wanted to block the large camp white, maybe do a double or something. Or they could have put this a little bit more to the right and maybe still caught a lane ward.
Yeah, normally if you're going to go aggro try, you want to block their pull and ideally either get your own or just be diving. But this tri-lane can't really push the wave because they have AA who doesn't push the wave.
Yeah.
Witch Doctor is not that great at it, which means, yeah, you're going to have to either pull or just trade farm. But they don't seem to be able to win the farm battle.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. It's very, very on the line. It's hard to tell which one they intend, but it's definitely going to hurt them because now that the tri-lane's there, they can't get any advantage. They basically have to sit there and sap experience. So this is pretty bad for IG. This is going to really impact them into the early to mid game. And if we compare the CS and the other lanes, if we look at Axe mid, he's got 14 CS versus Clock's 9, and on the safe lane, or the bottom lane that is, Phoenix has 10 versus Storm's 13. So it's pretty even other places, but in the top lane, they're definitely winning that lane. And again, I feel like Phoenix could potentially kill Ferrari. Looks like he actually just went on him.
Yeah,
using
it
Force
looks
Spirits,
like he
so
wanted to go.
He missed his first opportunity. He whiffed like 2 Fire Spirits right when he hit level 3. So he had to wait for the cooldown, which is pretty long. It's like, what, 40 seconds or something like that for Fire Spirits. It's
I think
pretty big.
ideal play is force the Chuan TP and then you probably back. Chuan does have it ready to go. He is low though. If he goes in there, he may end up just feeding.
He doesn't have cask either for 8
it's on
seconds.
cooldown,
So
actually.
I mean,
yeah, you're right.
I feel like this isn't. Ferrari's got to be careful. He's got to dodge the Fire Spirits. I think he'll be fine, but he's got to be a little careful.
Let's see if he can do it. 430. Yeah, no, but nobody wants to fight.
What
Okay.
a gank.
All that hype for nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like potentially IG can end up losing all 3 lanes here. Already the top lane looks pretty lost based on CS, the first blood. Mid lane, an almost unwinnable matchup for Clockwork unless he catches Axe on his own in the river, which it just doesn't seem likely based on the way the lane's developing. And this bottom lane, it's been about even, but before 430 hits 6, there's a bit of kill potential here for Meepo.
Yeah. They pinged out the Clarity Potion on Chaos Knight, really cool move here, and they got Clockwork to shoot a rocket up to the high ground because they didn't feel safe going up to break his Clarity. Mana's super important. Chaos Knight's one of his weakest aspects in the early game, so they launched the rocket, break his Clarity Potion, and that keeps our tri-lane safer. Really cool little trick they just did here. And he's even he's continuously rocketing the top lane. He's trying to give them advantage by just harassing up here.
It doesn't seem to be working too well though. IG, looking at the levels, all level 2 in the tri-lane. Meanwhile, Loda hits level 3, Magka also there. Let's see Pycat make his way back towards the middle lane. He farmed the enemy small camp after pushing the lane in, and medium camp I should say, and now just heads back towards mid, so getting a bit of bonus gold and experience there. Very nicely played by him.
Saving a skill point, see if he needs a Battle Hunger, I guess.
Yeah. Mono-wise, he's got enough for a call here and either a Battle Hunger or potentially a chop, but that's about it.
Yep. Back on the safe lane, we've got Phoenix at level 5 here. Storm is almost 6. I think IG's going to want to rotate him for a gank here. Since the top lane is still close, though they are losing it, they may want to rotate him over eventually, because it will help push them into an advantage. If they do get an advantage in that lane, then Alliance won't be safe to just free farm like they are. So I think we're going to need to see Storm rotate pretty early here.
Yeah, especially because IG supports, they're not really the best ganking pair of supports. You don't have a Chen or Shadow Demon, Lion, reliable initiators and good lockdown heroes, so they're kind of limited. If they're losing this tri-lane, they could throw Clock in the off lane maybe, or send him around for ganks, so just leave a support to leech experience, but it's becoming a problem as far as burning goes.
I actually do kind of like...
He's level 3 and he's got 8 CS in 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Real liability right now.
I do like the support skanking with Clockwork though, because Cold Feet will actually work with Cogs. So if you can get a Cogs off on the enemy here, you will proc Cold Feet as well. So you will get a stun. And Cold Feet's actually a pretty good nuke. If they take the full duration, it's 150 magic damage for 1 skill point. It's really not bad at all.
Well, it was a wasted smoke here by IG. They spent a lot of time off the top lane, and Alliance wasting little time, just farming up the jungle, getting stacks going. Pycat going to happily claim one of his medium camp stacks, and in the meanwhile, Alliance continue to build up this big camp. They're looking for a fast Axe Blake, and already Pycat, he hits level 7. IG have seen the stacks, though. They shot a rocket towards them. Luo got vision of this. He wants to contest, and he's going to move his way in.
So Ferrari shifts to the mid lane now. I don't know if he's going to stay here. He kind of gets here at a bad time, though, because Burning's like, please, I need farm. What is this? Look at this. Ferrari actually just walked straight through the river, past creeps.
They're just going to farm
and they definitely... Okay, that's why. It's like, is he ganking? What's going on? Well, so this is cool.
Yeah, let's see if Alliance wants to contest this. They got to know, based on the Ferrari's movement, something's going on here. Already the creeps are dead, though. Nice little grab, and he does have a regen rune up on the high ground. 430. Might even be able to turn this one around for a kill. They got to be careful. That's a good play by IG.
Yeah. The only downside to this is that they had so many heroes over there that they had nobody farming the safe lane and nobody farming the off lane during that whole duration. So I don't even know if it was that worth it. And more just gimped the supports, and maybe he's going to delay a blink on Axe for a bit.
Now 430 now, just trying to decide where he wants to go next. All the while, Nico happily claiming experience in the bottom lane. And as you mentioned, Kevin, that is the trade-off. Sure, they get the stack, but experience advantage still heavily favoring Alliance. As Luo gets off the hook on Pycat, does not drop the Cogs immediately, though. The battery assault comes through. He pushes him out of the Cogs. Oh, that's not ideal. Hesitate a little bit there. Let him get the call off. And in the meanwhile, Ake going for the neutral deny will be prevented from doing so. 430 ends up getting the first kill. He doesn't have any points in the pool, though, here, so not really that easy for him to go for additional frags. He'll bring down Faith. Ends up being a 1-for-1, support for support. As Burning, he's going to start playing the catch-up game here. 18 CS. This is really going to be on 430, and as you mentioned, Luoda, to create some space for him.
So if we look at the graphs, it looks like they actually did get some golden experience gain out of that. It's not huge, but it's something, which is pretty good considering their position. I mean, they were losing the top lane. The bottom lane was mediocre. The mid lane was mediocre. And they shifted in, and they killed Alliance's farming potential. That would have been a spike up for Alliance, so I think that actually did pay off.
And there is the Midas. Luoda likes this item a lot on the CK. He'll be looking to use it soon. In fact, just popped it now. So, again, the big benefit I feel for CK is just the levels, more so than the gold. This hero, ideally, you want to get that level 3 Phantasm. Level 1 is a bit better now with the 50% chance for the bonus illusion, but still a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, the main item you really need is an armlet because it gives you approximately 60 damage for the cost of, what, 2,400 gold.
And it makes your illusions a lot beefier.
It makes your illusions tankier as well. Great point. And with the extra levels on top of this, he can spawn up to 4 extra Phantasm illusions, which do 100% of his base damage. From there, he buys more tanky items, some hybrid strength items like maybe Sanj and Yasha, maybe Halberd, maybe
Scotty
Hart.
are also really good.
Oh, Scotty is very good as well. But the main damage is going to come from his base damage that he's getting. So if he has more levels and he just has all these illusions and his opponents don't have AoE to deal with it, he could easily just crit people down very rapidly. So I think the Midas is going to really pay off here by the mid game because he's going to have like 4 or 5 extra levels than he really should. Something like that.
And matchup-wise for IG, if they have enough farm, it feels like they're decent at dealing with CK up to a certain point. Like, you have Ice Blast, you have the Naga if she has a fast radius, but the way the game's developing, both of those heroes, their 2 big AoE heroes, are horribly poor and under-farmed.
The one problem, though, is that CK is very centered around his ultimate, and it's 140-second cooldown. It's a huge cooldown right now. If you waste it, you're kind of a crappy hero. You still have a stun, you have a gap close, you can crit people really hard, but at that point, any lineup can deal with you. You're a single hero, you'll probably get a BKB, but you can be dealt with. And they also have Naga again, and he does actually have levels in Ensnare. Once he maxes this out, it will reduce some of CK's mobility. He can still do reality rifts, but it will make an impact. So as long as his ultimate's not up, he'll be a decent carry. When his ultimate's up, he gets really scary.
Big hook in by Luo, setting up for 430. They zip in, they'll get the kill. I don't think he brought his Blink Dagger. He was just a wee bit short. Oh, man. Very nice ward to set that one up.
What an interesting playstyle. We're losing, so we're going to hang out in your jungle. Like, does that
Well,
make
we're
sense?
losing, so we're going to be more aggro.
Yeah, it's been so peculiar.
But it's been working.
Yeah,
for
it
the
works
most part.
really well. Like, who's going to predict, like, 2 heroes in your enemy jungle? And look where the Alliance even has to ward. They're like, okay, we obviously need to protect our jungle. We need to watch the movie. And did they smoke for that? I don't.
They did. That was their second smoke of the game, I believe. Or no, actually it was their third.
Because the ward would have caught it otherwise. So the ward would have prevented it, but they very wisely smoked in for that. And they're still stacking here. They really need to get the blink on Pycat. He's almost got it, though. He's TPing in the mid lane. Once he finishes this, we can see Alliance be more mobile. And for now, I think Lotus just happy farming. He's getting more items. He's picked up treads here. He's got a bigger mana pool because the tread switching now. And from here on, he should be okay. He does get lucky with his illusions, so he gets an extra illusion here.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
looking to
50%
push
chance.
pretty hard, as you mentioned, but again, IG stealing stacks. This time they steal another, I think it was 2
Oh, wow.
additional creep stacks. They didn't get the mud golems because the Storm not so good at farming those, but they're stealing a lot of these camps. So Pycat's like, I should really have a blink by now.
Yeah, it's like he got ganked 2 extra times because they ganked his jungle camps there.
Oh, and they're looking for it again.
That hurts the supports as well. They spent all their time stacking. Now you have a level 4 Skywrath Mage, and Lena's only level 5, so it doesn't just impact the cores, it also impacts the supports. They spent time doing that. They could have been pulling, they could have been killing the camps themselves as well.
So even with the use of his ultimate, Loda not quite able to do much to the tower here. Only brings it down about 200 health. Well, Lompa stun at 430, but 430 now with the haste rune bottle. This may be an opportunity for him to make an aggressive play.
Maybe he's trying to get Ferrari there to use the haste rune or something, waste the haste rune to think, oh, they're about to go on me. Because it was a little peculiar for him to throw that stun. He didn't have a follow-up there. Probably trying to
And
scare him
CK
there.
at this stage with just the stun, he's not doing anything to a Storm, really.
Yeah, until he gets his crit level, it's mostly just a setup and popping his ulti sometimes. Hookshot comes in, Loda's in trouble, needs to get out, but he can't. He's stuck, and Pycat jumps in as well. Loda's getting so low, the cask is going to bounce on everybody with the Death Ward doing the damage. 2 dead heroes. Looks like Clock's going to run as well. A couple slows on Ferrari, but there's that haste rune, one of the best runes in the early game. Just guarantees your mobility. You can get around, get in, get out, and not die.
Man, IG just making big play after big play. As burning bottom lane will get jumped by the Phoenix. May actually burn down here. Even with the song usage, he pops the stick. It's not enough. Burning not respecting the Phoenix. He could have songed earlier and just backed off, but he underestimated the damage output. As Nico picks up his own Midas. Double Midas for Alliance now, and finally getting a much-needed kill. And ideal hero probably to take it on, as this Naga is still in catch-up mode, Kevin.
Yeah, Nico's doing really well here. He did have a solo lane, but he's pulling up the support that you know, Pycat's not able to have due to his jungle camps being stolen. Killing the enemy carry like that is so big. And the Midas, again, for Phoenix, if you guys don't know the why it's so good, it's because you want extra levels in your Supernova, so it takes more hits for it to die. So Midas is great on this hero as well. He's got all these points into his nukes. He could very easily solo kill Faith or some of these other supports if they're not careful.
Speaking of Faith, just got that first point in Ice Blast now. Could be the setup, or it could be the follow-up, I should say, for 430's initiation. They've got a great lineup for H Apparition. The hook shot and the Storm Zip. It's tailor-made to get this AA some easy kills and start his farm.
If you can land the stun on, or sorry, the Ice Blast on heroes like Chaos Knight too, it helps so much. Just because and if you combo that with a Radiance as well, it's a ticking time clock. You know, you're closer and closer to that 10% threshold where you just die if the Ice Blast does hit you. So if he can land really good Ice Blast, I also love his skill build. He's going for a max Vortex build. This allows you to sit, despite being a squishy hero, the Vortex cast range is really big. You can just throw it from far away. On top of where the Clockwork is, it buffs up the Clockwork damage, it'll buff the Radiance damage, it'll buff Maledict damage, even the Storm. So it's really good as a squishy support. It puts A from like a really bad support into like a really strong support once you hit level 6 or so.
Now out comes the Rocket bottom lane. All of a sudden, Alliance looking to scurry on back. There is a Storm Illusion giving some vision here.
Ooh, he missed.
Oh, Luo, just a complete airball on that hook.
Yeah, I guess he thought he was going to move or something. He was running
I think he was
straight.
anticipating Pycat would juke back, and he just kept on walking. So.
Okay. Yeah, it was a level 1 hook shot. You sometimes underestimate the range as well, so it could have been a mix of 2 things there. But he's pretty farmed on clock. He's 2-0-1. He only has 26 CS here, but he's got the items he needs, plenty of stats. I've seen that hook's pretty big. PyCat actually...
I gotta tell you, man, he is just, this is not his game so far.
Oh, look at this. It was just now. Look at that. He just totally evaded that gank.
Everywhere he goes, they just seem to be harassing him endlessly. Like sending 4 heroes to steal stacks in the jungle earlier, stealing another stack, constantly hunting him with the clockwork in the store. He's just an axe, right? Like, leave the poor guy alone. He's already got his Blake. I mean...
But he
no mercy from IG for PyCat.
Yeah, he is Alliance's big playmaker in a lot of games, though. There's many games I've casted where PyCat was just goes crazy and dominates the game. So shutting him down, maybe that's their plan. They think like, oh, PyCat is the real threat on Alliance. That's the guy that we need to shut down. And they've done a good job doing that, but then you have Phoenix getting kills on his own and other heroes getting farmed. So we're still going to see Loda go really hard this game because he does have a Midas. Same with Phoenix. And PyCat still has a Blink Dagger. Like, he's not super farmed on an Axe, and he's died twice here, but Axe is going to be relevant throughout the entire game no matter what at this point. So, unless he goes on a feeding spree, which I don't see.
Well, top lane Loda just smacking creeps, doing his Chaos Knight thing here. Gonna walk up for that last range creep, and that was one creep too far apparently, because here comes the whole gang. IG, another pickoff for this team. It's only 5 kills, but everyone feels like it just has to be perfectly orchestrated to make it happen. And well, every time so far, they've been able to connect.
They threw down their spells for that one, that's for sure.
Why not? All their spells are pretty low cooldown. The Witch Doctor ult is decent, but it's only a minute to go.
They have to go back to base to heal, but it's not like there's a lot of places to farm. And the only, out of these 2 supports, Witch Doctor is the better jungler, but A doesn't have a whole lot to do. He's back to base, waiting for his ulti cooldown, then he's good to go. The main reason Loda stuck around, though, is because the 2 supports, or at least the Axe, as well as the Sky with Major, wrapping around the Tier 1 tower with the smokes. They lost the smoke there in addition to their carry dying. So, unfortunately, they weren't quite in position, but I don't think it was going to matter. Loda was going to get blown up no matter what.
Well, this quiet time is exactly what Bernie wants to catch up. He has seen no pressure since he left that top lane, except for the 1 dive bottom from the Phoenix. But other than that, he's just had a free, empty map, and his team's slowing down Alliance enough that he might be relevant at this rate. Relic is not that far off, only 1,000 gold for burning.
Well, Loda got a little unlucky on his illusion here, only got 1 more.
And then it gets ice
so
blasted,
bad
so
when it's only 1, though. You're like,
that's why you love the Midas, because you're guaranteed at least the 2 illusions.
It's double your damage, but you don't get the attack speed items. It doesn't translate to illusions unless it's like an agility item. So you just spent 140 seconds there for this thing, this little crappy illusion. Like,
garbage.
Congrats. I think that's why Loda keeps using it, because he's like, my ulti sucks early. Let's just use it. Put it on cooldown. It's only 125 mana. It used to be 275. So it's manageable. Just throw it out there. Maybe you get some good push out of it.
They just don't push without it. Like, looking at these Alliance heroes, I guess you have Fiery Soul at some point, but that's it.
That's real stretching it.
I know, it's a support leader who isn't skilled in, but it's
with tranquil boots, no damage there.
Theoretically.
That's a good point, though, yeah. Them pushing towers is actually pretty difficult. They're going to have to rely on getting kills first or winning team fights.
And it's going to get harder as the game goes along, because at some point Burning does get that Radiance. In fact, he's closing in on it. 3,300 gold.
Do they have good heroes to counter the illusion splitting? I guess
not great.
The Naga's behind, though, by pretty significant, maybe not a super significant margin, but moderately significant. If a Naga's doing really well, he's got Radiance by 18 minutes, and you're in trouble. It's almost 18 minutes, and he's about to get Relic. So it's a little late, which means that their heroes will better be able to deal with it. But they don't have a lot of really good single target lockdowns. They don't have a line. It might be tough, but I think they'll be okay as long as Chaos Knight's mana is pretty good, because he can do Reality Rift, stun, and then team follow-up. So I think they'll be okay to deal with the illusions, but it's definitely a worry.
Yeah, and I think you're right that they can kill the illusions in fights, but to me the concern is, like, can they actually take objectives if Burning's just constantly ratting? You've got rockets flying around to give vision. The Storm has been making a lot of big moves so far this game for 430, and if Alliance aren't able to stop that split push, at some point, then the other cores start finding space to farm. That could be the big problem. And it feels like Alliance is really starting to feel they need to take objectives. They bring 4 heroes down towards the bottom lane, showing most of them in the lane. In fact, all of them in the lane. They will grab that tower. Neeko tanks a rocket. They want to keep on pushing in, and IG slowly trying to split push, but this is just not really their time yet. They don't have the Radiance yet. The Bloodstone is still not complete, although it's very close for 430. So they're just going to have to let that tower go.
Interesting that he goes for Bloodstone first. We saw this a lot today, actually, but in a lot of the past, Storm Swords are like Orchid first every game, no matter what.
Yeah.
And he's doing well this game. He's 2-0-3, so that's not the reason that he's going for the Bloodstone instead. He just expects a lot of farming. So he goes for the Bloodstone first. It's better as a farming item than Orchid, and it keeps you a lot more survivable against Burst and Chain Stuns. If he got Silenced in Reality Rift, dead every time if he had an Orchid. So this is going to give him a better chance at making it into the mid game with a good KDA.
And it does better fit the rest of the draft, mainly because they have the Naga. So with the Bloodstone, you can farm more efficiently, you can split push better, you don't need as many base trips, and at this point, Alliance feel a lot stronger in a 5v5, unless IG get an amazing Ice Blast death board.
Yeah.
Whereas Alliance have like a pretty easy to execute combo. You know, you get the CK stun into a Lita stun, somebody's dead, Axe blinks in and calls, and then you Laguna them. Lots of easy kill potential. So, well, Bloodstone out, Radiant's coming, and this may be one of those games where, you know, you can walk away for 10, 15 minutes, and if it's going IG's way, nothing much will have happened. They'll get a couple of kills, but mostly towers start to fall, Burning gets another item, 430 picks up his Orchid, and then Alliance start to feel like they're on the back foot. So we're not there yet, but that is the direction IG want to take this, that's for sure.
The important, they're actually going to find a hero. It's going to be a hookshot onto the Skywrath Mage. He's getting really low. He's going to die for sure from the DD. Pycat in the jungle as well, but they might actually go after him. He's got Blade Mail in 8. This is dangerous. You're playing with fire here. They're going after him. There's the Yules. Here comes the call as well. Call last second. Clockwork in trouble. 600 HP, a couple more right clicks, but he does have Blade Mail, and he's going for the TP. But oh, the great song is going to keep him alive. He almost died. Great save by Burning.
Now that slows him down just a couple of seconds for the Radiance, but he'll take it, man. Oh my.
It's like, I wanted to farm, you asshole.
My Radiance time is at least 10 seconds slower. This is unacceptable. Oh, top lane. They look for the stun in 430. They're going to get it, but waiting is the Witch Doctor. He's going to thwart any potential follow-up as they complete the Radiance. Radiance online now. Song is on cooldown for 90 seconds, but Birdie has hit level 11, so it's not going to be that 3-minute cooldown any longer. And it's at this moment that Alliance want to make their own plays. They just got the BKB unloaded. No early armlet. Another hook. Luo making massive plays all around the map. He's going to find Ake and kill him again. This is just too many kills for Luo, and it's without Burning getting involved. Ice Blast coming through. That's on 2. The follow-up's there. 430 grabs an easy double. Now once the TP out, they pull him in, and no, he gets away.
Yeah,
Phoenix Ult even wasted. Yeah, they did not have the follow-up call or Chaos Bolt in time, and they may get Chuan here, but no cores taken down. All the while, Burning's just farming out the bottom lane. As Chuan winds into the trees, they're worried about a TP rotation, and they're going to let him go.
Yeah, he was going to be okay there. He had some stick charges. I was a little surprised.
Meanwhile, by the way, H Apparition take you a free tier 1 mid.
Seriously?
Oh, no, they're going to give it to Burn. Oh, no. Okay. Cardi takes it.
Dang, Cardi. So, pretty decent fight for Alliance, but they wanted more kills. I felt like they should have gotten at least 3 more there, but IG ran away just in time. Ice Blast's going to miss on top. Lodo's going to be fine.
It's just this AA, Storm, Clockwork. Like, that trio is just applying so much pressure. Feels like 3v5, they're keeping up with all of Alliance's team.
It's basically Clockwork catching the kills. You know, he keeps finding where Ake is going to be and predicting his position as well. I think that was a blind hook. He spotted him over between the tier 2, or the large camp and the small camp, but ended up hooking it, started the fight off, and his Blade Mail's doing work here. Like, it's so hard for Alliance to turn around and stop that from happening. They need like a disrupt or something.
You know, the other thing is they've had amazing wards this game, especially for a team that was playing from behind. Earlier we saw the Hill Ward bottom. That's what scouted out the Axe who was trying to clear out his Ancients, and they still haven't been cleared, by the way, I believe. Or if they have, it's a fresh stack waiting. But they also scouted Pycat when he was off farming his big camp in the woods. There was a ward in this region. So time and again, Alliance have just been punished by excellent warding, and that's one of the big reasons why Luo's been able to find these kills.
Well, Arlena's pretty farmed here. He's got a Yules being hunted by Chuan as well. Here comes the hook. Any second. There it is. Great. We're only going to catch 1, though. Lena's by herself. Yules in the air. Death Ward comes down as well. Ice Blast going straight for the Axe. Can they catch him? They do catch him. Pycat in trouble. Storm's going in. Gets called, though, but I think he's going to fall here. 10%. Very, very close. He's buying out, and that's it. Pycat goes down. Great gank and movement from IG again.
It's
Look at the wards.
Too many kills for IG. They're doing this without Burning.
Yeah.
He's got BOTs now.
That's a bad sign. Naga is one of the scariest hard carry heroes to deal with because he just makes the game so difficult, and they're winning with only 4 heroes. It means the scariest part has yet to come.
That's before the H Apparition Ags comes out. Faith did get his Midas, so he was able to put that together. Up to 500 gold, almost level 10. And it's before the Storm really comes online as well. 430, Oblivion Staff 1-up. Once he gets the Orchid, you combine that with the Ice Blast Rocket, and pretty much anybody is dead. It's feeling, even though the numbers are, well, they were pretty even, now they're really starting to favor IG, but it feels like it's even worse than that, just based on the way the drafts match up strategically.
Just IG predicting Alliance better than Alliance is predicting IG, pretty much. If they get in position and they find the kills and they get out, they're going to get a huge advantage, and that's what's been happening literally all game. Alliance has done some movement, but they're maybe a bit out of position or a bit too late, and that just severely impacts things, wastes their time.
They've moved a lot, but they haven't gotten too many objectives. Only 4 kills, only 2 towers, and that's the tier 1 mid and bottom. And when they have gotten those objectives, it's because IG didn't have their core items. So they just say, you know, we can't fight bottom, let's just give that tower up. Same for mid. We'll try and split push top, and now it's getting to the point where it feels like IG might be able to fight. You get their 4 staff of Clockwork now, and I do also want to mention Mad managed to deward the hill, but the ward had almost expired anyway, so a bit unfortunate for him.
Yeah, they had that up very early, actually. It's good to put that up before you pressure the tower at all. It's harder to predict, for example. So top tower is taking some damage. Storm is waiting to see if somebody came. That way they could TP in and start a fight, but they're out. Storm Spirit's almost got his Orchid. He's only missing the recipe, more or less. So things get really tough for Alliance here, especially Ake. He's going to be the one that's most likely targeted. He's only got 5 armor. He's only got 750 HP. He's already had a rough game because of all the great hook shots from Clockwork, but it's just going to get worse when Storm goes on him.
If Naga, Storm, or Clock find him, he's just dead.
Yeah.
Any of those 3
That's
heroes.
the problem with Skywrath Mage. It's way too hard to stop anybody from killing you.
Yeah, he can be a high-impact support, but if you don't have that powerful laning stage, compare him to, say, a Lion, a Sand King, a Rubik, he just doesn't bring the same toolbox to the table.
Silence is good, but it's countered by other things. BKBs, for example.
Yeah, and soon enough, we're going to see the Manta on Burning if he wants to pick it up, Diffusal possibility later on in the game. For now, it gets the Vit booster just to tank up a bit more. But I'm just looking at the lanes now, Kevin, and more, they're just pushed against Alliance. All 3 lanes well past the river, and this is where it gets easy for Storm and Clock to find pickoffs and also to get those aggressive wards down.
Yeah. It's really hard to push out when there's a Naga Siren. Your mirror image is every 40 seconds, creep wave spawn every 30. Split your illusions up. You should be able to kill at least 2 creep waves in addition to maybe doing some jungling with that. How do you stop it? You almost have to kill Naga Siren, smoke into killer, but they're limited on smokes here. They used quite a few early. They did find a pretty fresh ward here, but that was placed because their Observer ward was spotting things. But bot tower goes down. Not killed by Burning, though, so they've got that going for them at least.
Well, what do you think is the next step for Alliance? They had a pretty good start. Seemed like they had a decent advantage through the laning stage. And, it was like 7 minutes in, they had a 1,500 gold lead. That's not bad. Now they're behind, and they're behind against what looks to be a much better late game lineup. The Naga, on top of that, the Ancient Apparition Storm duo, just excellent initiation, great late game heroes. What's your plan here if you're Alliance, do you think? How do you turn this game around and get back into it?
I feel like they need to get some kills. Luckily, they did do a D ward here, so they can more easily move to that side of the map and try to set up kills. They're limited on smokes. They're almost out. They're actually out of smokes right now unless somebody's holding one on the courier. So that also means that they're not able to freely move forwards. But like I said, they killed the Observer ward, so they should spend some time trying to set up ganks. And the enemy jungle perhaps would be a smart thing to do. But in the meantime, IG completely moving into the Alliance jungle where they do actually have an Observer ward. So maybe they're moving out of a safety reason. They're like, oh, if we get ganked, they can get back into this. So let's move where we have Observer wards, less likely to get caught. If we do get killed, make them use a smoke for it, and then they can only get, what, max 3 ganks or team fights out of it. So I think IG is playing this correct. They have an advantage. They might as well just farm it for now.
It just feels like they're the puppeteer and Alliance is the puppet on the end of the strings, right? Like every time Alliance tries to make an aggressive play, IG either sidesteps it or ambushes them. And when IG wants to make a move, they catch Alliance off guard. It feels like they're just reading them like a book this game.
Yeah. IG's super talented, man. They got the prediction down.
Even going back to the lanes, where they ended up not having a good start in the tri-lane, but on paper that's a decent tri-lane for IG. It's not like they're inherently far worse there, but then they had 2 1v1 matchups that weren't great. The Clockwork versus the Axe, the Storm versus the Phoenix, but at least they got early levels on their gankers, which I think was the big goal with those lanes. And in that sense, it does feel like IG just knew how Alliance were looking to lane and play this one early on.
Yeah, and again, those jungle steals that they did wasted a lot of the time from the supports, and they ended up under-leveled, which means that their early roaming didn't really do anything. And maybe that's why it looks like Alliance didn't do anything in the early game, because they were just trying to catch up. They're like, oh, our supports are 4 and 5. We don't have ultimates yet. There's no point for us to roam because they're not as strong as they could be. So maybe we should go roaming, or we should get our levels before we can actually move. And then IG in the opposite did have levels, so they could just move around wherever they wanted to.
Well, it is a gem that IG have picked up, and with the Naga, your illusions do get True Sight. This is a great way to pressure the lanes and de-ward a bit more as well. So it's just a map control item, really, for IG.
Yeah, it's really strong. Don't have to worry about invisible ganks either from Invis runes or something like that. There's going to be no tricks. Sending one illusion to each creep wave. Actually, initiation top, no hook though.
Oh, they push Faith into the middle of the fight. He'll end up falling. Luo narrowly missing on the hook. If he hits that hook, he turns on Matt and kills him. There was no Yules to get out, but a bit unfortunate. The hook off the mark.
That's pretty significant, actually, because this tower is definitely going to die then. If he did land his hook and initiate, we would have seen TPs. So
yeah, Burning could have come in with Song. The Storm could rotate in. That could have been really bad.
All based on one hook. Hook misses, drastically different game in the next 3 minutes or so. So that was pretty big.
Gets them their first tower, something they've been struggling to find. Still, I don't think IG are going to be too worried about it. They are getting their own farm. 430 now completes his BKB. He'll reveal it bottom lane. He's got an Invis rune bottled up. Already up to 12 Bloodstone charges, despite the relatively slow pace of this game.
It's really interesting he got the Oblivion Staff, because he was like, I'm getting an Orchid, and then all of a sudden he said, you know what, I should really get a BKB, because if I get a BKB,
nothing's killing me.
Scarith can't touch me, ZK can't touch me, Phoenix can't touch me, Lina can't touch me, Axe Call, and that's it. That's all he's got to worry about.
This is one of I feel like it's like a just-in-case BKB. He's not really planning on fighting a lot right now, but if he needs to fight, now he can.
That's a good point.
And ideally, they just farm the Naga until she's 6-slotted. He gets his Orchid, work towards the Hex. But if they need to fight right now, the Storm is... I mean, he's pretty close to invulnerable, unless the CK army manages to catch him, or he doesn't pop the BKB in time.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't pop BKB and he gets a call into a chain stun, he would die.
Yeah.
But that's
They also have
to
Song, though. There's always the reset button to
Yeah,
work
good
with.
point. If they go on him, then they only have max like 2-3 seconds. Maybe if we get a 6-second silence off from Skywrath Mage onto the correct illusion, things would be okay, but that's about it. Heart's finished on Chaos Knight, by the way, so that increases his HP by about 1,000, gives him 40 strength, which applies 40 extra damage to his illusions. Really good item on CK. In almost all cases, this is the best follow-up item. You can get Armlet, you cannot get Armlet, but Heart obviously gives you the most HP for the cost.
Well, they were continue to farm up the bottom lane with that CK as Pycat looked for a blink call, but something either cancels blink or he just misclicked. Didn't end up getting it off. Now Luo cogging. Looks like he may get trapped out anyway. Mad waiting with the stun when he drops back down. The Laguna comes out, but it's into a blade mail. Pretty Mad dangerously low. He's almost dead. Song coming through. Will there be follow-up for this? Oh, it doesn't look like it.
If that was a full team fight, that would have been really good for IG, because that clock got absolute value on his HP there. Both of the supports used both of their strong ultimates to lower his HP. It was a good kill for Alliance. Well, the initial call miss was really impactful, because if all of IG was there, that would have been a lost fight.
Did his blink get canceled? I didn't see anything hit him.
Probably just clicked too fast. You know, it was like go go go. Didn't blink in time, or cancel his blink.
Got a little excited. They still managed to collect the kill in the end, but it's only the clock, which is something that Gods and Synderen were talking about in the pregame. Is Luo's not really expected to get a whole lot of farm. I actually think he's gotten more than what I would have expected, given how much he generally gets for the team and the fact that he's playing clock. But it's okay if he doesn't. It's really 430 who wants to be fighting kills. He will zip out top lane, gets pulled back in by the Reality Rift. Still has a little more mana available. The Suicide and BKB. Anything he needs is here. Loda wants to force out this BKB charge, but 430, another zip back, and he won't even have to use it.
And Nikwa on the Phoenix there didn't actually have to use his BKB either, which is pretty significant. He's going to need this as the game continues. Once the Orchid comes up, that's probably who Storm might go after, and he's not as limited with saving his Yules just for the silence protection as well. He's got 2 protections against silence there, so he's pretty much guaranteed to be able to use his ultimate in fights. So much safer just to use his ultimate. It's not the longest cooldown, 110, and by the time it's finished, it'll be up soon.
This is where the game gets really sad for Ake.
Oh, God.
He might just die to Radiant Spirit here.
Illusion's
coming in. Loda trying to bail him out. They'll barely finish off, but there's your hook. Catches him out. Oh, almost got Loda as well with the cogs. I don't know if they had the follow-up. It's probably for the best he doesn't hit that. So
yeah, he wasn't going to get him at all. He had a BKB worst case. It could have wasted a BKB charge, though, if he did catch him.
I mean, just look how easy that is. That's just a rocket into a Riptide Radiance Bird, and Skywrath is just dead.
Yeah.
Pycat trying to find an opening, though. He does get the call here over in the bottom river. Not quite enough spins, and now a big zip for 430. Pycat's going to shatter. Doesn't even get the kill, and it's 430 who gets the last hit.
Yeah, his BKB was slightly too late there. The ball from Storm did full damage, and that put him solo. So I guess you can shatter if you have BKB on? That's amazing.
You don't take the damage over time,
Yeah.
but you can shatter.
That was really rough for Pycat. Thought he could get a kill there, but the illusion and the Riptide just hurt too much.
And even if they're even trades, it feels like that's not ideal for Alliance, but for the most part, it's just been IG. Pick off, take a tower, pick off, farm, and they're just farming at a faster clip. Burning is far and away the leader in CS. Now almost 100 CS up Loda. He's starting to lap him, which is just what you expect based on this matchup.
Yeah. Chaos Knight isn't really a natural farmer. This is why you buy his Midas as well. It's not a hero that you should see a ton of CS on. You shouldn't buy Battle Fear on this hero because it does nothing for your illusions, so there's not really a lot of good ways to
That
make
used
the
to be
hero
a
better.
good build in Warcraft 3, man.
Good build at the time.
Good build by which I mean that most people weren't good enough to punish it.
Yeah, that's pretty much Chaos Knight's problem right now. He doesn't have damage. He can't farm that fast. They're going to catch somebody mid. Paul is going to catch the Clockwork. Can they get it?
Doesn't actually. Luo able to just get away and looks to turn this one. Now the pullback, and they will get the kill. If they had anyone else here, this could have been very bad for Alliance, I feel. They get him, but it's such a big commitment for a Clockwork. Schwann's farming. He's almost got his Ags, Burning's, or 430's going on the top lane, and CK Illusion's just not really amounting to too much here.
Well, he ultied. He's like, I'm going to push mid with these and create space while we take Roshan, I guess is what's happening. But the top racks, it's taking damage.
You better respect these Illusions, my friend.
Oh, man.
He's not giving them a whole lot of credits. They'll make their go top lane. This could be big. 430, that is a juicy kill if they can bring him down. They do not have mana for the Laguna. Oh, no.
That's unfortunate.
How unfortunate for Matt. He's got just 3 stick charges only now. And they can't even take Roast. They're denied this. Now a hook coming in. Burning, focusing on Loda. He's got the net if he needs it. He's going to hold him in position. Death Ward comes out. And Loda will fall. This might even be a 3 Roche for IG. They're not the best Roche lineup, but there's no CK Phantasm.
Yeah.
And there's no way. I don't know if you can fight this.
They had to get that kill on Storm for that to be worth it, and they didn't. So, man, he's got 2,000 HP, just a bit too much there. Even the Laguna ultimate might not have killed. He's got. Where did he get this? He has an Aghanims. What is going on? Lina actually has an Ags already. That's amazing. They're still likely to lose Roche here, but it's looking really bad for them. I feel like Loda needs a damage item now. Like, honestly, I know he's pretty full on item slots, but I seriously think it's worth it to buy an armlet. It's like 60 damage for 2,400 gold, and he's got heart, so his HP is never going to be reduced before the fight happens. He can farm with it. Like, if you have a heart, it's worth it to get the armlet, in my opinion.
It's such a value item, even late game on Chaos Knight.
Yeah.
Really any strength carry, but especially him because of the way the Phantasm works.
Yeah, it's 25 strength, so it's just as good. Oh, gonna grab
from 430, looking for Mad, but gets thrown up in the air. BKB's there. Now he's gonna zip in deeper. Hook comes through. Nice Yule's dodge, but not sure if it's gonna matter for the Lina. Even a great call to follow this up, but the BKBs are helping to keep them alive. There's your Laguna. Brings down Luo. They want Chuan as well. Ags now delivered. Oh, this could be dangerous for Alliance. They got too many creeps. This cask isn't going to get the job done, but Chuan tries to juke. Stunned across the tree line, pulled into pain. As Loda will beat him down.
How are you supposed to land your Lina stuns when CK's pulling them all over the place?
And it's almost like they're enemies. My kill. No. Give it to me.
All right, Loda bought something. It's a Yasha. He's going Sonic Yasha, I think.
Manta. I think Manta most likely.
Really?
Yeah, it works with the Reality Room.
Yeah, but the problem is it's really expensive on mana. It's about 165 to activate the Manta.
Lina just dying in the fountain to the Radiance Burn. That is not good.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But it's so expensive. If you go for the Manta style, you only get 130 extra mana. It costs 165 to use it, and then you have to Phantasm for 275, and then every Chaos Bolt is 140. It's just so mana expensive. It's so cool an idea because then you can actually just like Zergling surround somebody with all of your illusions.
It's like a full Warcraft 3 surround at that point.
I mean, that's a guaranteed kill on Witch Doctor A. That's the cool part, but I feel like S and Y is more likely here.
All right, we'll see. I mean, to me, it's pretty core on Chaos Knight as a late game item, but the other thing is he can always go back for a Scotty as well if he really feels like he needs the extra mana pool to help support it.
Yeah, that's true. That would solve the issue. If you go Manta Scotty, yeah, that sounds really
Maybe
good.
even a point booster and then into Manta, or Scotty and then into Manta. Well, we'll see. For now, it's more about IG's items. Burning's picked up Diffusal. He's had the completed Manta. I think Heart is now on the way. And along with that, we're seeing 430's items start to pile up. As he gets an Ultimate Orb and a Void Stone, he's going to have a Hex soon. They're just getting out of control.
He just sold his Orchid, or his Oblivion staff.
Really?
Really interesting. He's like,
I guess he's seen the number of BKBs they have. They've got one on Nikwa,
Yeah.
one on Loda, and one on Pika. Triple
you're
BKB
right.
already.
He was like, oh, I'm going to build this. It'll counter the Phoenix. But the Phoenix did well this game, so he got his Oblivion. He got his Yules really quick, and then it's like, well, I could use the Orchid to kill the Sky or the Lina, but I might as well just get a BKB and it'll do the same thing. So.
Oh, Alliance starting to walk back here in the bottom lane. There's your rocket initially, then the jump on an equal. Oh, they almost got two. They'll settle for just the Phoenix. They thought there was a second here on the tree line. They got really excited about it.
It's like Storm and Clock on the same team, or trying to kill each other.
Tries to pull him.
Yeah.
I was joking like a couple weeks ago about like what if there was friendly fire in Dota and you could just like use your spells on your teammates.
I know everybody would stop playing the game, I think.
It should be an optional mode, okay? If you just want to mess around in pubs, and they have it in Counter-Strike.
That would actually be pretty funny.
Although I will say it's like the ultimate griefer tool. It's probably a terrible idea in Dota.
Tidehunter is essentially just an August Siren. You just ravage everybody, and then you like all chat something.
No, you slashers away. You know, I guess Void is kind of works like that. It's one of the few friendly fire spells in the game.
That's true. So they're going to the high ground. We still have a dead Phoenix. He's got ultimate. Does not have buyback. It's pretty close though. So IG's going high ground. There's the Manta split. Illusions to dive, lowering the HP of all the Alliance heroes before the team fight starts.
They're just running. They're just forfeiting this tower. No Phoenix for 19 seconds, and IG going to take a tower, looking at a Game 1 win if they can just get a couple more kills here. They try to set up, but there's your hook. Prevents the call. 430 kept alive, still has Aegis. They pull him in. Big CK pile up, but then the song. Looking to turn it, though. Net Loda while he's BKB'd. He's being isolated, but can they focus him? BKB's going to wear off. Now 430 engages. Poppy's out BKB. From the low ground comes the Death Ward. Chuan laying down the pain. Onto the Scarlet they go. The egg in the middle of everyone. Nicely placed by Alliance, but they've got no CK illusions. They're going to focus the egg down. Oh, no, not quite. They don't get an equal time. 430, though, has the Aegis. They dunk him once. Can they do it again? Lina stun, going to be ready. They managed to bring down Burning as well. But now 430 looks to wipe the floor with everyone. Dropping the Remnant, mad low, and should be finished off here. One more auto attack, gets him. Does he dive for Pycat? He will. Zips in, gets the Hex, has the pull. Oh, he's looking for easier kills. He finds Nico on the tree line, throws him up in the air, has the BKB. He better use it real quick. 430, still thinking about a jump here. Not going to risk it. Up to 18 Bloodstone charges. They did kill Burning there. Pretty big takedown.
They did save the racks though. That was pretty huge. As the Phoenix egg was monstrous there, stunned like 3 people. It worked out decently for them. And did they even buy back for that?
They bought back on the axe.
Okay.
That was it. And they also got the enemy gem. I believe that's the IG gem.
Yeah, I think they did. So it was decent for them, considering the scope of the game.
Oh no, but Pycat, he just bought back. He's gonna die outside of the base. With this, they have Burning alive in 15. They may just go high ground again.
Got no mana on Chuan though, so
That's
won't
true.
be seeing an ulti from him. It looks like they're doing what Alliance expected them to do the last time, was actually back off. So they will retreat, getting mana. And Alliance has got to sit around and say, well, this game's getting hard.
IG just have so many tools in their arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say too.
It feels like there's so many ways they can win this game. They can split push if they have to. They can find pickoffs with the Clockwork Storm. They can team fight with the Witch Doctor roll and the Ice Blast. It's just like they have all the options in the world.
Yeah, and what Chaos Knight's working with, a BKB, they just Song, and it completely wastes the duration. Song plus net, he can't chase people very easily, and that's it. Like, you wasted your BKB, that was your 4,000 gold item, the sleep goes away, and then we team fight normally. The only thing that was really Alliance's saving grace there was the really good Phoenix egg and a couple nukes. So
It might just be death by 1,000 cuts if that's what Bernie wants. At this point now, building towards a butterfly, does get the Talisman of Evasion. No other components just yet, and it's actually I think a triple Ags. Yeah, the Clockwork Ags now inbound.
And MKB is really an item that Chaos Knight never buys. You don't want to buy that item on the hero if you can get away with it. It's better to go just strength items, for example, but at some point he is going to need it so that he can counter the evasion from the illusions.
Yeah, evasion, it's the same thing with like a Phantom Lancer. Any illusion-based hero, just MKB just sucks as an item.
Yeah, you don't want to have to get it if you... One of the few illusion strength heroes, though. Was that a hook? No, I'm just seeing things.
He's also got Ag, so even if he wastes it, no biggie.
Yeah.
I've been hearing things too, don't worry. I was hearing a Spectre Haunt earlier this game.
I saw it with my eyes, so I'm seeing things as well as hearing things.
You know, it reminds me of when I cast Void Voice sometimes, and they've got the little Void icon, and it's right next to all the hero pictures. So if you if your eyes don't look towards the middle of the screen. You're like, wait, where's the void? I haven't seen any Chronos this game. This noob. Oh wait, there's no void. See, with no Tidehunter, they had the little like red circle over it, so it was more obvious. But
I like this luxury Mystic Staff on Witch Doctor. That's going to be pretty useful. Is that going to be a Hex? I guess so. Much more likely. Maybe a Shiva's Guard. I feel like Shiva's actually would be pretty good versus CK Illusions because they have weak attack speed because the CK agility gain isn't that amazing. He does have a Manta style, which gives you, what, 20-something? But if you reduce their attack speed by like 50, I feel like it really will limit their DPS. It's probably going to be a Hex, though. Hex is a lot better offensively, stops BKBs, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and with that, they're going to have double Hex to work with, as well as just plenty of follow-up as well. The Storm Pull, the Ice Blast. It's Alliance who are completely hemmed in at this point. It feels like for Alliance to regain momentum, they're going to need a great smoke, some sort of buyback fight where they bring the CK in or the Axe in twice and catch IG off guard after they use Song, but barring that, I don't really know how they break this contain.
It's definitely going to be tough, especially with all the items that IG is sitting on. It's just getting scarier with time. They're farming the map really well. Despite them losing the gem, they still have a big gold advantage, so they can just keep Alliance on their toes, especially with all the kills on Pycat. On the plus side, they get a lot more gold if they do get kills, since they are on the losing team. The percentage difference between their two net worths is big enough where the comeback mechanics are essentially in effect. If it's a little bit lower in percentage difference, then it doesn't do very much.
Man, they're just spamming them back into the base. Ice Blast thrown towards top, burning, marching down mid, and Alliance have not scratched a tier 2 in some time. They're not even getting close to these towers.
At least they got the tier 1s. It helps a lot. You can at least mostly go across the map. They have pretty equal Roshan advantage, actually, for their distance to their distance.
They're trying, but it looks like IG may be waiting for the Roshan. They're going to have a scout, see if it's up.
It's a good idea. They're close to other major items as well. I don't know if Chuan's going to finish his sheep anytime soon. Probably not. If he finishes it, it'd be really useful. I really wonder if he should get... No, you shouldn't get Shivas. There's too much magic damage.
Yeah.
Hookshot?
Hook top lane, onto Loda, pushing it back with the cogs, and he's out of mana.
Just messing.
Ice Blast, and then Mad gets caught out. He's going to take the debuff. I think he took the blast there as well. Gets pulled in. BKB from 430, finds one to start the fight. Lina, no buyback. Another hook, body blocked. Luo probably not happy about that one as they push on to Pycat. They'll bring him down as well. No buyback available. It may still be cooling down. Yeah, 50 seconds, and that could be it. It's a 3v5.
Well, it's definitely going to be a Rax. Tier 3 will fall.
And at this rate, yeah, one lane down, possibly two. Illusions hurting heroes back towards the well. Loda will try to engage, though. He brings in the whole army and tries to go to work, but there's the song. Only the Loda CK with BKB trying to do it. He turns to stun burning. He gets nothing. He gets juked. Loda, please, pulls them back in, but he's trapped in the cogs with the Ice Blast coming through. Sunray keeping him healthy for now, but now the Maledict, the follow from burning. They'll pull him out of the cogs. They're beating him down and slapping him around, and at long last, Loda will fall. Has no Phantasm. IG closing in on a Game 1 victory. They have looked sharp after a slightly shaky laning stage.
Man, he really needed to kill the Witch Doctor there. The one way that Witch Doctor does counter CKs is it stuns the illusions for 5 seconds instead of just the regular hero one. Illusions count as creeps in that way, so the Cask is still a very good illusion counter, and halfway through that, the illusion just stopped attacking for the rest of the battle, and then you're just a worthless hero. So that was their chance. It actually is that a dodge?
He's gonna try to turn this. Loda, he just bought back, cannot afford to die. There's the call from Pycat, but from the sidelines comes Chuan. He's gonna kill Ake. Runs into the Death Ward, takes the whole kit and caboodle. And with that, Alliance are gonna tap out. IG, one game away from the winner bracket semifinals.
IG played that fantastic. Just the draft they had countered Axe really well. They shut Axe down. Pycat had a very uncommon, rough game. Just got killed many times as he initiated, and IG just outplayed them, got the ganks off, and Ferrari never died, more or less.
I really love the way that IG played to counter Alliance's jungle. I don't know if you'd call it greed, but their focus on the jungle. You look at the early game, they stole the one big stack. They dropped wards to scout the Axe trying to farm his blink. They stole a triple stack of medium camp creeps, and then they killed him 2 or 3 times. And it felt like that was what really just took all the wind out of Alliance's sails.
Yeah, just the supports were under level. That reduced their ability to be mobile on the map, and then that delayed Pycat's ganking potential. And then you just had a Chaos Knight that was farming. Nikwa did get a solo kill against the Naga Siren, but it just wasn't enough as the game transitioned. They all of a sudden they were behind.
And if you're Alliance, like you're saying, it's like it's hard not to feel frustrated because they were dominating it. It means Axe versus Clockwork. At best, it's an even lane. Usually, Axe is going to dominate that. The Phoenix versus Storm seemed a little bit Phoenix favored around like that level 5 point, and he does end up getting the kill. And they win the tri-lane, but it just wasn't that substantially.
Yeah, I guess if anything, they needed to identify that IG was moving 4 heroes into their jungle at the 7-minute mark, and then be there and ready to fight it. I mean, I don't know.
Who does that, though? Like, that's a pretty uncommon move. It's
Yeah.
one thing to steal, like, a big stack of Ancients or something, but it didn't look like the type of draft that could even get away with that play.
They ganked their medium camps. I mean, how do you beat it?
Imagine if Alliance is waiting with 4 heroes there, or, like, they bring in the... I mean, not waiting there, but, like,
Yeah.
they quickly rotate. That could have just cost IG the game, potentially. So they took a bit of a risk with it, but it works out.
Yeah, well played by them.
All right, well, with that said, IG not looking jet-lagged whatsoever. They seem fresh, rested, and ready to go. Can Alliance bounce back? We're going to find out. But before we do, guys, we'll take a short break. When we return, Game 2 of IG versus Alliance.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.